Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this episode 3830, and today's date is February 1st, 2026, and the title of the episode is Trump Nominates Kevin Warsh to Restructure the Fed into the Treasury. Now, the rules of money are being rewritten right in front of our eyes. The institutions that control the financial system aren't waiting, warning, or wishing. They are acting, buying gold and silver at an unprecedented pace. They're preparing for something. The question is, are you? For nearly a decade, Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands of people protect their wealth with physical gold and silver. As the world shifts to hard assets, the window to act is closing. Let Noble Gold show you how simple it is to protect yourself and your family. While everyone else is reacting to the news, Noble Gold clients are positioning. The understanding that when the rules change, you need assets that don't depend on the system. Visit X22Gold.com and download your free wealth protection kit. That is X22Gold.com. The rules are changing. Make sure you are ready. Or just click the link in the description. And remember, past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, the private West Central Bank, the World Economic Forum, you can see that Trump now is making a move against them, and he has now nominated Kevin Warsh. Now, a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, why did he pick him? We need someone that's fully gold, fully crypto, and we need to go against the entire deep state central bank system. But you have to remember, we still need the Federal Reserve right now. We still need to run the country. We still have to transition into the new system. And when you look at Kevin Warsh, he was nominated. He likes crypto. He likes gold. He likes sound money. And I do believe he's going to assist Bessent into restructuring the Fed into the Treasury. Now, once again, this is Trump's first pick. It doesn't mean he's going to be confirmed. You have to remember, there's a process that we go through. And if the Senate doesn't like him, they will reject him. And this is probably one of the reasons why he decided to pick Kevin Warsh, because he needs Powell out of that position, and he needs this individual, or maybe somebody else, into this position, because he needs to prepare the country for what is coming. And again, you're still playing the game. This whole thing is a game, because again, once you have full control, then you could do whatever you want. But when you don't have full control and you're still fighting against a central bank, you're still fighting against the deep state players, it's very, very difficult to do anything. So what do you got to do? You got to play the game. And sometimes you have to bring someone in where this individual doesn't look like a threat. And I think this is exactly what Trump and the Patriots are doing. Actually, if you go back on a little bit in time, you could see that most of the people that he was bringing in, sometimes they were head fakes. Like if you look at when he was bringing in the Attorney General, it wasn't Pam Bondi in the very, very beginning. It was someone completely different, and that was Matt Gaetz. And the deep state players, they were panicked, and they said, okay, we're definitely not going to confirm this guy. So he was removed, and Pam Bondi was brought in, where they thought, okay, she's not that bad. I think we can control her. I think we can manipulate her, and they brought her in. Can they manipulate her? No. She's doing exactly what Trump wants her to do. And I do believe in the end, you're going to see evidence being produced to bring down the entire system. And I think this is what Trump is doing now with the central bank system. He needs to play the game. He needs to bring in the people that are going to work with both sides and eventually, slowly but surely, restructure the entire system. And I do believe this is the beginning stage of it all. And I think this is why gold, silver, Bitcoin, I think this is why everything dropped dramatically, because once he made the announcement, everything started to come down because everyone thought, oh, he was going to bring in a gold bug, or he was going to bring in someone that was heavily into Bitcoin, and everything was just going to transition right away. But again, when you look at the entire situation and you look at what Trump has been doing for a very long time now, since he came down the escalator in 2015, you could see it doesn't work that way. And I do believe gold and silver and Bitcoin, I think they're all going to go back up, because they're going to start to see what Kevin Warsh, if he gets confirmed, or any other person, I do believe they're going to see in what direction we're heading in, and you're going to see all of this start to move up again. And you can see that Trump, he's still battling the deep state players across the globe. I mean, this isn't over until we gain complete and utter control and we remove the Federal Reserve. And the globalists, the deep state players, they're going to still follow the path of the Green New Scam. They're going to follow the path of the Great Reset. They're not going to stop. And you can see out in Canada, that's exactly what's happening right now. They're continually pushing back on Trump. They're making deals with China. They're trying to get around the tariffs. They're doing whatever they possibly can to try to stop Trump from succeeding. And Trump, he put this out on Truth. He said, based on the fact that Canada has wrongfully, illegally, and steadfastly refused to certify the Gulfstream 500, 600, 700, and 800 jets, one of the greatest, most technologically advanced airplanes ever made, we are hereby decertifying their Bombardier Global Expresses and all aircraft made in Canada until such time as Gulfstream, a great American company, is fully certified, as it should have been many years ago. Further, Canada is effectively prohibiting the sale of Gulfstream products in Canada through this very same certification process. If for any reason the situation is not immediately corrected, I am going to charge Canada a 50% tariff on any and all aircraft sold into the United States of America. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. So basically, every time the deep state players try to do something, Trump, he fights back with tariffs every single time. And this is a weapon that is like no other. You don't need bullets. You don't need bloodshed. All you need is leverage. And that's what Trump has right now. He has all the leverage he needs to force these countries, the deep state players, into doing what he wants. And they can't stand it. And this is why we see the globalist system completely and utterly falling apart around them. And soon they're going to see the central bank system completely and utterly fall apart around them. It's just a matter of time. And when you look at this country, what do you see? You see that Trump's policies, especially in the red states, they're pulling the people from the blue states. Now, we said this going back a while ago, that you were going to see a very, very big difference between the blue states and the red states. And I think we're starting to really see that now. We're starting to see the economy of the red states really starting to take off. And we're starting to see the blue states that are following the Green New Scam, the Great Reset, they're going down a path of no return. And you're seeing businesses move out of the blue states. You're seeing people move out of the blue states. And yes, there's many other factors that are associated with this. But when you look at taxes, when you look at everything that they're trying to do, making energy expensive, people, businesses just can't stay there. And you're seeing a lot of Americans now move out of these blue states where they're losing their tax base. And this is going to be a major, major problem for those states. DC Drano put this out and said, over 500,000 more Americans moved out of the blue states than moved in during the past year. This isn't just a COVID surge. These are long-term losses that the blue states can't seem to stop. California alone lost almost 250,000 residents on net. Just devastating. And when you look at the states that are gaining people, are North Carolina, 84,000, Texas, 67,000, South Carolina, 66,000, Tennessee, 42,000, Arizona, 31,000, Georgia, 27,000, Alabama, 23,000, Florida, 22,000, Idaho, 19,000, Nevada, 14,000. And when you look at the people that are leaving the states, I think this is very clear. Connecticut, 5,000, actually very close to 6,000. Hawaii, 9,000, Colorado, 12,000, Maryland, 12,000, Louisiana, 14,000, Massachusetts, 33,000, New Jersey, 37,000, Illinois, 40,000, New York, 137,000, California, 229,000 people. And I think that tells you everything you need to know. And it's just going to get worse as time goes on. I mean, if they don't reverse what they're doing right now, their entire base is going to be gone. And the states are going to implode under their ridiculous policies. That's what we're going to see. And you could see that every step of the way. What is Trump doing? He is now building the economic system. He's building the new parallel system to compete with the Federal Reserve. And when you start to really look at it and you really see it, you understand it. Now, the rules of money are being rewritten right in front of our eyes. The institutions that control the financial system aren't waiting, warning, or wishing. They are acting, buying gold and silver at an unprecedented pace. They're preparing for something. The question is, are you? For nearly a decade, Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands of people protect their wealth with physical gold and silver. As the world shifts to hard assets, the window to act is closing. Let Noble Gold show you how simple it is to protect yourself and your family. While everyone else is reacting to the news, Noble Gold clients are positioning. The understanding that when the rules change, you need assets that don't depend on the system. Visit X22Gold.com and download your free wealth protection kit. That is X22Gold.com. The rules are changing. Make sure you are ready. Or just click the link in the description. And remember, past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions. Trump, he put this out on Truth. He said, U.S. steel production exceeds Japan's for the first time in 26 years. Trump's tariffs, AI data center construction boom lifted industry in 2025. So everything that Trump is doing right now, it's working. And the parallel system is coming online. And it's going to get stronger and stronger every single day. That is what we are seeing. And you have to remember, the deep state, the central bankers, they've been manipulating the calculations for a very long time. They manipulate inflation. They manipulate GDP. They manipulate the unemployment numbers. I mean, that's very, very clear when you look back at Biden/Obama. They pretty much just lied straight out about the number of jobs that they were creating. And Trump, what he had to do is he had to start it over. He had to wipe out everything they did and start from scratch because, once again, it was one gigantic illusion. And now it looks like we're getting back on track. And this is what he put out on Truth. For many years, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, under weak and stupid people, has been failing American businesses, policymakers, and families by releasing very inaccurate numbers. That is why I fired the former commissioner, and I'm pleased to nominate the very talented Brett Matsumoto as the next commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Brett was a supervisory research economist for the BLS, but is now serving as a senior economist on the Trump Council of Economic Advisors. Like he did in my first term, I am confident that Brett has the expertise to quickly fix the long history of issues at the BLS on behalf of the American people. Brett is brilliant, reputable, and trusted economist who will restore greatness to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Congratulations, Brett. So basically, for the central bank to operate, they needed to manipulate calculations. And they do this with inflation. They do it with unemployment. They do it with the GDP. And they've been doing this for a very long time because they have to keep you in the illusion. If they actually use the calculations going back to 1970, before we came off the gold standard, people would see that the economy is not doing what everyone thought it was doing. And people would start to realize that we're a lot worse off than what they've been reporting. And you have to remember, especially with the jobs, they've been replacing private jobs with government jobs. Remember, government jobs, they don't produce anything. Actually, it's a drain on the system because who pays for the government jobs? Oh, wait, we, the people who are working. So they take the money from the people and they keep creating jobs in government that don't produce anything. And we, the people, have to work harder and harder and harder to support that. And that is used to make us think that people are getting jobs in this country, but they're not. I mean, these aren't real jobs. It doesn't help the country. It doesn't benefit the country in any way whatsoever. And now everything is changing. And Trump is changing because what is he preparing for? He's preparing for a real system. That is what he's building. And think about it. All the experts who said tariffs are going to destroy the country, the experts that said it's going to cause massive inflation. Remember, they were saying that everything the central bank and Biden and Obama were doing back, from 2020 to 24 was not going to cause inflation. It was going to create jobs. Actually, the opposite happened and everything that they said. And now all the doomsayers and the experts and everything else, they were all wrong about Trump. United States Trade Representative put this out and said, media forecast, the doomsayers say tariff would destroy American exports. Trump effect? President Trump locked in trade deals with our partners around the world, opening new markets for American exports while protecting domestic industries at home. So here's a little graph here. U.S. exports surge under President Trump. And you look at Biden from January to November of 2024. And in the billions, you can see he's around 2.9 billion U.S. dollars. And Trump is around 3.1 billion. So the opposite is happening. And that number is going to go higher and higher and higher as time goes on. And when you look at inflation, you can see inflation is way below 2%. And this is coming from Trueflation. And I do believe Trueflation is more of an exact calculation because you have to remember the Fed, if they're manipulating everything else, what do you think they're going to do with their inflation numbers? They're going to manipulate it, especially since Trump is in office, because they don't want the inflation to come down around 2% because that would be the Fed's target. But when you look at true inflation, what do you see? US CPI 0.86%, dropped from 1.24% yesterday. US PCE today 1.18%. US core PCE today 1.38%. US BLS comparison CPI 0.29%. So forget about 2%. We're below 1% already. And remember, this is just annually. This is not going back to 1971 because we have to remember inflation is cumulative. So what has Trump done? He's basically leveled out inflation. So now things will not be going up. So he made it steady. It's almost like when you gain weight, you're at 150 pounds, you put on 100 pounds, the next year you put 10 pounds on, then next year after that you put 5 pounds, and then this year you put 0 on. So you didn't lose the weight, you're just not putting on any more weight. So we're not putting on any more inflation, which means since this is leveled off right now, you lower fuel prices, you remove the income tax, you give the people a dividend check, that returns the buying power back to the people. Before, you can, then pay off the debt, which will actually get rid of the inflation. So we could see that this is what Trump is doing right now, and it is absolutely working. We're heading in the right direction. And like we said before, Kevin Warsh, he has been nominated to be chair of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve. And this is what Trump says. I am pleased to announce that I'm nominating Kevin Warsh to be the chairman of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. Kevin currently serves as the Shepard Family Distinguished Visiting Fellow in Economics at the Hoover Institution, a lecturer at the Stanford Graduate School of Business. He is a partner of Stanley Druckenmiller at the family office. Kevin received his AB from Stanford University and JD from Harvard Law School. He has conducted extensive research in the field of economics and finance. Kevin issued an independent report to the Bank of England proposing reforms in the conduct of monetary policy in the United Kingdom. Parliament adopted the report's recommendations. Kevin Warsh became the youngest Fed governor ever at 35 and served as a member of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System from 2006 to 2011, as the Federal Reserve's representative to the Group of 20, G20, and as the board's emissary to the emerging and advanced economies in Asia. In addition, he was administrative governor, managing and overseeing the board's operations, personnel, and financial performance. Prior to his appointment to the board from 2002 to 2006, Kevin served as special assistant to the president for economic policy and executive secretary of the White House National Economic Council. Previously, Kevin was a member of the Mergers and Acquisition Department at Morgan Stanley and Company in New York, serving as vice president and executive director. I've known Kevin for a long period of time and have no doubt that he will go down as one of the great Fed chairmen, maybe the best. On top of everything else, he's central casting. Very interesting. He uses central casting, and he'll never let you down. Congratulations, Kevin. President DJT. So basically, Warsh has compared Bitcoin favorably to gold as a sustainable store of value, indicating a positive view of gold's role in the financial system. His nomination led to sharp declines in gold and silver prices, and they fell quite a bit, as markets interpreted him as an inflation hawk who might pursue tighter monetary policy, reducing the appeal of precious metals as inflation hedges. This reaction stemmed from fears of less dovish Fed actions, which had previously driven gold rallies amid uncertainty over Fed independence. Warsh's broader hawkish stance on inflation aligns with hard money, principles that could indirectly support gold. And Kevin Warsh, he is sound money. He's a strong advocate for sound money principles, emphasizing disciplined anti-inflationary monetary policy. So I do believe, is he there to bring us right to the gold standard as soon as he gets in there? No, I do believe he's there to restructure the Federal Reserve System, to prepare it to be restructured into the Treasury. And you have to remember, Kevin Warsh was a vocal critic against Powell's leadership, echoing Trump's frustration with high interest rates and calling for a regime change at the Fed. So I do believe that Kevin is on the side of Trump. I think he's putting him into this position to restructure the entire system and get it prepared. It's almost like when Trump brought in Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Tulsi Gabbard, Ratcliffe, Noam. They had to go into their agencies and they had to restructure the agency. They had to, get rid of those people that weren't for the agency. get rid of those sleepers that were going to interfere and restructure those agencies into a system that would actually go after criminals. So if you look at the Fed, this has to be restructured from a Federal Reserve system that supports the fiat currency into a system that supports sound money, where we can make the transition back to the gold standard. It's not something that you could just snap your fingers and we just go back. It doesn't work that way because, again, there's a lot of things riding on all this, and you have to structure it properly. Plus, think about how many people work for the Fed. Do we need 30-something thousand people? I don't think so. So I do believe he's being put into this position to assist in restructuring the Federal Reserve and preparing it for what is to come. And I do believe this is the direction that we're all heading in. And you can see that Trump now is preparing the country for this. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.